being a female in business to me is like the ultimate demonstration of like we are empowered because we can do this. I need to 100% commit to my art form, and I created a business plan of how I was going to take this basically what was a side hustle, a hobby, and make it into a full-blown career.
Welcome back to Embracing the Journey podcast. So you own a gallery.
Yeah.
Okay. We've established that. Do we as an audience know any people that have bought in your stuff that we would see on TV or?
Yes.
How was that? Well, what was it like knowing that you penetrated this market?
It was great. Like it was also kind of like it gave me a sense of security because I, as an artist, you are your own biggest critic. Even as, you as a professional athlete, like you could look at, this jump or that jump and kind of like critique it. Like, I could have done that a little bit differently. Or when I would look at my, different scenes that I did, I'd be like, maybe I could have, done that differently. But to me, it was the sense of like, okay, even if I don't like all my artwork, the fact that other people and also important people are buying my work is a very like, it just, to me, it's like a sign that I'm on the right path, because art really is for everyone, but it's also very subjective because it's like, you got to like the particular style that I do. But no, it's been beautiful. And it was a great feeling.
Ooh.
My art for everyone. Woo!
I love it. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So remember when we were in the pandemic?
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody can forget that, right?
Yeah.
All over TikTok, you would see people like, I ordered a canvas from Amazon and I got a bucket of paint and I put it on this string and I sold it for $10,000. Number one, I want to know, is that true? Can people do that?
I think a lot of people can lie on social media. That's not to say that there hasn't been some people that have done that. Generally, the way pricing works in the art world is the price goes up incrementally per year, per square inch, and also has to do entirely on your notoriety as an artist, as a well-known artist. So if someone came out and said, oh, I sold this canvas for $10,000 and they have absolutely no kind of, previous work, I think that would be a little strange. To me, it's like a little fishy. Just the way that the art world works, right? Yeah. There is such like there's the elite artists and then there's all these levels. There's all these like hierarchies in the art world. I think it's totally believable that they sold that painting, but I'd have to like see, what that was all about. But yeah, there's a lot of people that make that do fluid art and it's like a hobby and I think it's very relaxing and I think that's great. People should, do fluid art. I went about it in a different approach. Like I wanted to create my own very distinct style. And that took me 2 years, like almost 2 years and a half to create my own specific style and method of how I do fluid art. There's also like a spiritual component to my artwork because I'm all about like energy and I love crystals. And so a lot of my artwork is inspired through energy work and crystals and also color healing, color symbolism.
So is your art built to like...
It's feel-good art. That's what it is.
Okay, that's exactly what I was going to ask. So who is your typical clientele? Would it be like the yoga studio, the spa? Like,
not really, to be honest. Like my clientele are usually like individuals that resonate with the artwork. And I've had people that are, CEOs. I've had athletes. I've had business owners, a lot of people that work in tech, mainly because of the area that we're living in. all kinds of people, families. I wouldn't kind of narrow it down to like one specific type of person. I think it comes sometimes with art, it just kind of hits you out of like left field. You're like, wow, this resonates with me. Like I need to get this. But I have a wide range of customers. I've had young people that were entrepreneurs that have bought my work, and then I've had people in their 70s that have bought my work. So it's a wide range of people of different walks of life. But one thing I've noticed about all my customers is they all have an open mind. They're all kind of like have that curious part of themselves that I like to think of it as like a little bit of a rebellious part to themselves, because my artwork is very bright and expressive and a little bit like loud. It's got like a rebellious spirit to it. So I could see that in the people that purchase my art. It's like they like a little bit of that like excitement.
Right.
Yeah.
As an artist.
Yeah.
How do you not get emotionally attached to things?
Well,
are you making one of ones or?
Yeah. So I do all one of a kind.
Oh. How do you not get emotionally attached?
So I used to a lot in the beginning, because in the beginning it was like I was learning my own. I was like figuring out my own technique. So when I would make something that would really turn out great, I was like, I love this so much. And because I only do originals, it was difficult when I would sell them. But now I just completely have come to peace with like, I love this piece and it belongs to whoever it belongs to. And then the funny thing is sometimes I make pieces of art and I don't like it at all. And then it's like the first one to sell. And I'm like, wow, that's when I have to tell myself, don't be so hard on yourself. You know, sometimes I make a piece and I'm like, oh no, this is not representative of my work. But then someone else falls in love with it, you know? So
for an upcoming artist, how do they know how to price their stuff appropriately versus them feeling like their time is of any value to anyone else?
Well, you have to kind of factor in the time that you're spending on it, the cost of like your materials, but also, I mean, most commonly it's per square inch. So you got to figure out, and that way it can be uniform throughout all your pieces unless you're using a material that costs significantly more on a different canvas. So yeah.
Interesting.
First, if you're starting off, I would say probably keep it in like closer to like $1 per square inch, like when you're just beginning. Because when you're beginning, try not to have such an ego about your art where you're trying to get the most money like super fast. And that, you know, here's the thing. You can sell 200 pieces for $20 each, right? Small pieces. Or you could try to sell a piece for like, I don't know, $10,000 and hold on to it for 3 years, because it's going to take a lot of time to sell, especially if you're not a well-known artist, you're not established, you don't have a big network of people and stuff. But hey, like, who am I to say? Some people do have that luck where they just blow up from one day to the next. But I would always say start off with making sure that as many people get their hands on your product and they could feel it and they could see it. Give it a reasonable price. And then once you really, really master your craft, start to price your work according to really what you think the value is of that piece.
She is out here giving us all the gems. We'll be right back.
Looking to start a podcast, live stream, make a presentation, or perform on stage? Samson has all the gear you need to help you become a successful content creator. To learn more, visit samsontech.com.
Welcome back to Embracing the Journey podcast. I love the energy, number one. I love the intellect. I love the way that you articulate. I feel like being in the space that you're in, not me being the artist, but like you being the artist, you have to have such a high degree of not only like self-discipline, but understanding what types of criticism to accept and not to like break you down.
Right.
What are some of the challenges in this art space? Owning your own gallery, being a young CEO, all these things, what are some challenges that you have to face every day?
Yeah. I think that a challenge is to not ever compare yourself to other people that are doing something similar. And I always tell people, like, remind yourself, like, you're always in your own lane. No matter what, it's your own journey. Like, you're in your own lane. A challenge is sometimes every now and then one of my posts, my video posts of me making my art, will get some people saying some not so nice stuff on it.
About like, your artwork or about you personally?
I mean, about my artwork, yeah.
Huh.
And I kind of just view it as, well, and then what's kind of funny is there'll always be like a random person that I don't know, like, defending me. Like, and I'm like, that's such a vibe.
Well, they say your biggest supporter is someone you never met.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. And like, I'm always like, oh, I'm so touched by that. So when I see negative comments that obviously I don't like it, I try to actually delete them because I don't like that energy on my socials. So I delete them. I don't respond to them. I don't want to I don't want to feed that kind of energy into it. Another difficult thing is understanding kind of like the ebb and flow of business and how you're going to be super busy sometimes, not so busy other times, and accepting that. There's also a big factor of loneliness when you're an entrepreneur. You spend a lot of time alone. I'm okay with that. I am more of a social person, but I have come to like peace with just the amount of time that I spend alone, working on my craft or running my business. So there's a loneliness to being an entrepreneur for sure.
And I think the entrepreneur space has been like so glamorized lately. Yeah. But I feel like a lot of people don't really know what this actually means, right? As an entrepreneur as well, it's hard to explain to someone.
Yeah.
Like whatever we eat, we have to go out there and kill, right? Yeah. We have to go out there and get it. So when you say that you're busy, I can understand what that means. But what does that mean to you? Yeah. Do you have the free time to go out and to pull an all-nighter to hang out with friends or to go out late to the bar knowing you got to get up? What does that look like to you?
Yeah, luckily I have I avoid alcohol. Like, I don't see it as being something that helps me at all. Like, I'll have like a cocktail or a Prosecco every now and then, but it really isn't like, I don't have to fight the demons inside me that tell me like, go party and stay up late, luckily, right? Like, I'm more of like I could be very like a homebody in certain ways. I think that for me, the challenging thing is that sometimes I don't have the time to like hang out with the friends that, I get together with them like more often, because it seems like for entrepreneurs, our schedule is so opposite to typical schedules. Like, everyone is on like either a 9 to 5 or later during the week, right? Is when they're busy. But for me, it's like my weeks are when I actually have a little bit more mobility and like in what I can do. My weekends are usually pretty busy. And it can change. It's very like, so.
Does that make it hard to, not to be all in your business again, but does that make it hard to date when you and your partner aren't on the same like work schedule? Like if they have like a sleep schedule and you're like, well, I'm going to be at the office late or whatever, does that complicate things?
I'm kind of like, I think that it's so important to be independent, even if you're in a relationship. Like, I think it's important to do your own thing and make the time to come together when you come together. I make it work. I do prioritize the things that are important in my life. Like, family is really important to me. Health is really important to me. So like, I'm always going to prioritize the things that are important in my life. So I will make time for that. But yeah, it can be challenging. Absolutely. When you're on an opposite schedule to someone, but it's all about compromise. So it's like,
If you could look back 10 years ago and look at yourself, what piece of advice would you give yourself?
Leave when you see the red flags.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Leave when you see the red flags. That's honest. It's good.
Yeah.
How can people get a hold of you? How can people follow you? How can people support?
They can't. No, I'm kidding.
Never.
They can't. No. So you can get a hold of me on my website. So nataliesifferman.com. That is more for acting and modeling. And then my business is Elements by Natty. And it's elementsbynatty.com. And then if you do a Google search, my gallery will pop up and my business phone number will be there. And then my handles on social media are Elements by Natty and then Natalie Sifferman for my personal.
Cool. Natalie, what's one thing that you embrace about yourself? What's one thing that makes you different? What's one thing that stands out?
I think my life experiences are so unconventional that I truly have always felt different. So I feel like it's not only that I felt different, but I am different. So that's something I think makes me stand out is like unconventional upbringing. My mom is from South America. My dad is from the US. I grew up abroad. I had a very interesting early 20s. I've done a lot of pivoting in my career. And I think for being 32, I just turned 32 yesterday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you. I feel like I am a very, I'm an old soul. Maybe that's a good summary of who I am, an old soul.
Good. I love it. I want to thank everybody for coming out. I hope you guys had a good time, and we'll see you guys soon. Stay tuned.